What's good, y'all? It's your boy J.Brock. It's Clapitup LA. I'm right here with the homegirl, Cristal VVS, formerly known as Mixed by Cristal. She is two-time Grammy-nominated engineer, the owner of Crystal Clarity Studio, offering recording, mixing, and mastering services in the NoHo Arts District. She served as ADR for Watts Homie Quan's Growing Up in LA show, and let me tell y'all something. Cristal VVS is far from done, so y'all make sure y'all tap into everything that she's got going on. How you doing today?
Good. How about you?
I'm doing good. Like I was telling you earlier, it's been a long time coming. As soon as Mixed by Crook spoke about you, I was like, wow, okay, I gotta check her out. And ever since then, I've been tapped in. And even like the DONDA project, like that was incredible for you to even speak on, knowing that you actually got to work with the one and only KANYEWEST, y'all. The one and only KANYEWEST. It's something crazy. So I gotta ask you now. We gotta speak on childhood. Where did you grow up at, and where did your beginning for your interest in music come from?
That's actually a funny question, and I knew it was gonna come. So, I was actually born in East LA. Okay. And my whole family's from East LA, but you know, growing up with a single mom, I had to like move around. So I lived in East LA, Paramount, Linwood, close to Huntington Park, and then after that, somehow lived in Chino for like a few months. She said somehow. That's a big question mark right there. It's very big. I don't remember. And then back to Linwood, and then I moved to Hawaiian Gardens when I was like in first grade and lived there till about 6th grade. And then I moved to Orange County in Anaheim, and I did like junior high school and high school in Anaheim.
Oh wow, yeah.
I'm technically too LA for OC and too OC for LA, so.
You weren't the first person to say something like that. You know, that's so funny that you said that, because I had the homegirl, I cannot think of her name, but she was saying that she was too, I guess, Asian for LA and too LA for Asian. I'm like, wow, this is something that's different and new to me. Now, what were the things that you were interested in as a kid, you know?
Painting.
Painting, okay.
Painting. What I would do is like, I would write lyrics that I liked from songs in my notebook.
Just like, my bad. Christy Mac, shout out Christy Mac. She said basically the same thing you said. Like, it was crazy. Yeah, that's her.
Oh yeah, shout out Christy, because I feel you.
Shout out Christy Mac, man, for real. That was the first time I ever heard something like that. But here we go.
It's a thing.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, so reading, listening to music. The very first rap artist that I ever listened to was By Mistake.
Oh, wow.
So it was when I was living in Linwood. I lived in Linwood like kindergarten and like the first half of first grade. And there was like these kids that would always play like football like in the street, you know? And they would always leave random shit on the street, like in front of my house. And at one time I found a pair of lugs.
A pair of lugs?
Lugs. Like brand new lugs on the street. So I was like, I gave them to my dad, and I don't remember if they fit or not. But then I found this Warren G cassette tape that I didn't know what it was. So my mom only spoke Spanish growing up, and I grew up as an only child. I have siblings, but I was the only child like at that time. And I put this cassette on, and I just started listening to Warren G when I was like 5 years old or 6 years old.
And you just 5 years old, just popped it in, and you didn't know what you was listening to.
I just remember him talking about socks, like, you know, I want it all.
Socks, like brand new socks and dresses.
Yeah, and I was like, damn, he wants socks. That was dope, though. But my mom didn't know like what I was listening to, you know, because she didn't speak English, so it was kind of cool.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how I started, and then, you know, just living in Hawaiian Gardens, there was a lot of like people always out like on the street, just like listening to different types of like West Coast gangsta rap, you know. So I grew up around a lot of that, and I like it. I mean, I'm not hood. I don't, you know.
Yeah. But I mean, if you're from LA, more than likely, like we grew up on NWA, Tupac, Snoop Dogg, the East Siders. You know, you couldn't help it if you was from LA, because that was our parents' music. You know what I'm saying?
Right. A lot of Nate Dogg, a lot of, you know, the 213.
Dub C. You know? Yeah, you already know.
What was the West Side Connection?
Yeah,
Ice Cube, like Mac 10, all those people. And I also really listened to a lot of the artists that my babysitter used to listen to because she was older.
Oh, she put you on too?
She put me on to like Tamia. You know, I love Tamia.
Yeah, shout out to Tamia.
Beyonce, like Sean Paul, like that whole era. Like that's when I really started like listening to a lot of stuff because, but it had to come from other people because my mom, you know, would listen to like Spanish stuff, which I also like too. Yeah. But
do you think that was being able to understand what was going on with Spanish music as well as hip hop? Do you think that was something that actually worked to your benefit in your career?
Right now, I don't really listen to a lot of Spanish music. I do from time to time. I think it helps sometimes, but I haven't really like utilized it a lot. Okay. But at some point I might.
Yeah, you haven't. She hasn't had to yet. That's the key word, yet. But I guarantee you, it's coming. You know what I'm saying? Because you know the thing is like one thing I've understood, and I'm sure that you understand, is in your career the moments only get bigger. Like the opportunities only get bigger. You get more opportunities. So eventually somebody gonna tap in with you and say, I need you to do this for me. You know,
sure.
rather it's reggaeton. I mean, I don't, you know, whatever it's gonna be, they're gonna tap in and say, look, Cristal, we need you. We need your touch.
Definitely.
Now, I mean, would you say that that's something that you would hesitate on, or was that something that you would jump into?
It's funny because I did work with one girl who was she's trying to do like reggaeton stuff, but since I don't listen to it enough, I feel like I sometimes don't know what like really sounds good because I don't listen to like I'm talking more like pronunciations and stuff like that. You know, it's not a lot of Mexicans that do reggaeton, so like a lot of Caribbean people like Puerto Ricans and Dominicans, and they have different like accents and pronounce words differently than me, you know, as a Mexican. So it's like, that word might sound correct to them, but to me it's like, well, that's not, you know.
So you would have to do your homework.
Definitely.
Yeah, you would have to. So, I mean, what would your homework be for that? Would you like have to listen to that type of music for some time?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay,
Cool. And I do listen to it from time to time when I'm feeling sad because it's really like.
Oh, okay. I mean, but why that when you're sad? Why that music when you're sad?
Because it's really like Bad Bunny, you know, he has really good breakup songs.
Oh,
so like,
Lord. So, she talking about just life. She talking about a breakup song.
No.
Somebody that did something. Somebody that did, man, you broke her heart, man.
No.
What's going on? Shit.
No, but just the way he expresses stuff, it's just like, it feels like, oh, this is dope, you know? Instead of like, because I feel like the R&B breakup songs, like, or you know, not breakup songs, but more of like oh, I'm missing you, or like, you know, like Don't Hurt Me type songs, like they all have similar like analogies. Okay. And then in Spanish, it's like a whole different.
So
vibe.
would they be on some stump his ass out? You know what I'm saying? They be on
like Bad Bunny be like talking shit, like you know, like I used to fuck with you, but not no more.
Oh man, she on that to the left. That's what Cristal VVS wants. She wants some to the left, y'all. You know what I'm saying? So if you out here working on that to the left, tap in. You know what I'm saying? No, I'm just playing. But okay, so you know, you grew up, so it's safe to say that Warren G was the first hip hop artist that you actually listened to.
Yes.
Okay, so shout out to Warren G, because I mean he's a guy who's heavy in the studio as well.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Doing everything that you can name. So when did you realize that you were impacted to actually jump into this music thing yourself?
Well, that didn't happen till like after high school.
Okay.
But also, shout out to Warren G. We actually did just tap in recently, which was like,
what?
I wanted to cry.
Legend. Let's go. Let's go. Okay.
And he doesn't know this story yet. So if he does watch this, it'll be dope.
Oh, let's get exclusive. Clapitup LA exclusive. Hey, shout out Warren G.
But I plan on telling him if I ever like get in the studio with him. So, so it actually happened in after high school.
Okay.
I started hanging out with some of my high school friends, like after high school, that they had like a rap group. So they were like rapping and, you know, doing like the underground LA scene, performing at the Airliner. I don't know if you ever were.
The Airliner, I don't know
in
what
that
that is.
In that era. It was like,
that's way over my head.
it's somewhere in downtown or like somewhere out here.
Yeah. Shout out to them. Yeah.
I was still living in OC at this time. So, you know, I was with them and like I was trying to write my own raps. But I was really shy.
So wait, you was writing raps?
I was writing my own raps.
Uh-oh, I didn't know that. Cristal VVS was about to get in the booth, y'all. Wait. Where did the rap career begin and end? No, I'm just playing. Okay, now how was that?
Well, so I was writing my own stuff, but I was really shy. And I guess people still say that I'm still kind of shy. So I didn't want nobody to record me.
Okay.
So then I went to school so I could learn to record myself.
Okay.
And you know, I still when I was in school, I got more comfortable with my peers and they started recording me like doing some rap stuff, which I think some files might still be out there, but it's done.
You didn't put it out?
It's done.
Ah, come on.
It's done. Yeah, it was real at that point in time, I was going through like a really like dark phase. Okay. So I had a lot to say, you know, but nowadays, like, I'm not there no more. Like I'm 10 times happier now than I was at that point in time. So it's really hard for me to even like listen to all that stuff.
Understood.
Yeah. So anyway, so I went to school, but what was difficult about it was that I was working a 9 to 5 because, you know, I had to help my mom or whatever. So I would like do like 9 to 5 and then go to school like 6 to 10.
Hustling.
Every day. So it was crazy. Like I was so slim because I wasn't fucking eating.
She said I was so slim.
It was a bad slim. Yeah. And then it just got to be too much, you know, so I stopped going to school and just started trying to do stuff like at home. And I was applying for like studio jobs left and right, even though I was still on my 9 to 5. I didn't know anybody in the industry. And I didn't know, well, I did know that you had to know somebody in the industry to get in it. Sure, yeah. But I also thought I could just get away with not knowing anybody and get in, but it didn't work like that.
Yeah, so. Well, you learned?
Yeah, I learned.
You learned, yeah.
Yeah,
sure.
So like I would apply to studios all the time, but you know, I lived in OC, so I think that was like a red flag. And also that, you know, I was young, and sometimes being a female, like they hesitate already that, you know, you're young, and then if you're a female, it's like, it's not like a complete no, but it's also like a hesitation, you know?
Well, I can say one thing, most women that like I've interviewed Gina Views, Cristal, the DJ, and you know, everybody giggles Irene, everybody says the same thing. Women have a disadvantage, you know, because they're a woman, like, or even a situation where you could be in a studio, you know, it's a bunch of men in there, they say hi to everybody else but not you, you know, and you know, and not saying that they're right or wrong, but we never know what they're thinking, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, well, I've learned that like they don't know who you are, especially for me that I'm the engineer, like they don't know who I am, like they think sometimes that I'm like the rapper's girlfriend or whatever.
Exactly, and that right there is like a don't say nothing to her right there off top. You know
right, but I just let whoever, like, you know, if I'm with, you know, AZ Chike, I'll let AZ Chike introduce me, like, this is my engineer.
That's right.
You know, so like then it's like, okay, like I'm his engineer, like, you know. Or if like they're just next to me, like I'll introduce myself. And I think I learned not to take it personal anymore. Yeah, for sure. Just, you know, just being part of the vibe. And sometimes when you're the engineer, like man or woman, like it's never about you. It's about the artist, you know? So like if the artist guests don't acknowledge me, I don't think it's just because I'm a woman. Sometimes it's because they don't care about you because you're not the artist, or you're not, you know, you're not, or in their heads, like you're not. They just don't know. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And you know, like I said, you get both sides, and it's crazy because, like I said, that seems like an issue most women have. Like, the problem is most of the time they don't know that you are the talent. You know what I'm saying? And it's like whatever, you know, whatever the case may be, but.
Because women have such a disadvantage because of that, do you feel like that makes women, that conditions women to be a lot more tougher in this industry?
Yeah, you definitely have to be, especially because we're working with like real like high level artists. When you're a new engineer, or not new engineer, but you're new to them, they're already like hesitating that they're getting a new person that they have to work with. And then when they see that you're a girl, they're like, oh fuck. So then they're trying, like they're already gonna test you if you're just a new dude. But if you're a new engineer to them and a girl, they're gonna test you even harder because they're already like, fuck, this girl is probably dumb.
Yeah, she said it's a double whammy.
It's unfortunate that that's how some people are, but being a woman has given me a lot of advantages and disadvantages, so it balances out at the
that's crazy because people don't really realize the advantages of it. You know what I'm saying? But it works both ways. Regardless, you got to go for it if that's what you want to do. You know what I'm saying? Now, we got to talk about, let's get further into 2019. You said 2019 Cristal was a different beast.
Yes.
Like we spoke about, working a 9 to 5, doing sessions after work. Shout out to Jag on a beat.
Yes.
You were shadowing Jag on a beat. Now, this is the part that everybody wants to skip over and think that they don't have to go through. You spoke on being the studio janitor, being the food runner, like going to go take care of other things outside of mixing. And you said you were tired, but you constantly showed up. Now I got to ask you, initially when he was like, okay, because you training at the same time, but initially when he was like, you got to take, when you decided that you had to be the janitor, when you had to go run food missions, how was that making you feel initially?
It didn't really affect me because I worked, so my college professors were like real like 80s engineers, so they were really like, oh, the interns got to make coffee. And,
so they put you up on game.
I kind of already knew, and you know, I'm a pretty humble person, I like to say. So fuck it, whatever I have to do, I'm gonna do it. You know. But yeah, it was pretty crazy because if you go intern like at a big studio, they're not gonna let you be in the room with the artist. You have to be outside, and just whatever they need, you gotta just get it for them. But with Jag, since his studio was there was no like lobby area, I got a chance to actually be in the room sooner than most people would have. And he was, you know, at this point in time, like he was working with a lot of the West Coast rap artists as well. Like I remember he had One Take J, One Take Quan, One Take Ocho.
Shout out to them,
Elijah Banks, like just a bunch of people that like nowadays it's like I see them constantly, you know. And at that point it's like they didn't know who I was. They were all very nice to me, and you know would talk to me and stuff. And now just seeing them like now it's like regular.
And it's funny because I went to SMC with One Take Ocho. We played on a football team together, and I was actually at Giggles Irene's birthday party with him. And I DM'd him afterwards, like, bro, ain't it something? We both went to SMC, took 2 totally different routes, and now we are amongst the company of the same people, you know, doing what we do now. Like, it's just so crazy to me because when things come full circle, that's why it's like so important to treat everybody with respect. Even if you don't mess with them like that, just be nice, be kind. You know what I'm saying? Because you never know when life comes full circle what you could be in a position where they can help you. You know what I'm saying? But they're not gonna help you because you did them wrong. That's why you gotta be respectful. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
So when you're doing these things, now when was the first time? When did you decide that it was mixing or mixing for you? Because there's so many different things that you could have done. When did you understand it was mixing for you?
I think I like being in the vibe. I like recording. I like being part of the creative process. Mixing is a whole nother.
It's another world.
It's a whole nother world, definitely. I still do both though. Like I record, I mix, I master sometimes, and mix. It's been so weird now because a lot of the songs that I'm mixing, I'm also recording. So when I get to the mixing stage, it's not a huge like a huge difference from where I recorded. But when you get sessions from songs that were recorded somewhere else, and that's when it's a little bit more of a challenge. And I know a lot of engineers will relate that it's like sometimes you get sessions from other studios that you're like, what the hell are these guys thinking, or girls, or whoever, you know. And that's when it gets like a little challenging, because you're like, okay, I gotta recreate this vibe, but I was never in the room, you know. So it's more of like a challenge thing than like a
that's it. You know what? That's crazy, because that's an aspect I never thought about. Yeah. I never thought about the fact that, like you said, how do you recreate that vibe? They probably were going up to that song, and then it came to you, and it's like,
yeah. So that's definitely the challenging part, and it's like, well, whatever I've learned that like whatever is in there is usually like there's a reason for it, and that, you know, with like AZ Chike, when we're recording and finishing up songs, like he's having me do everything that he wants to hear in the song like that night. Like, so whatever is on there is most likely going to stay there when it comes to the mixing process. So I've taken that from like him, where I get other mixes from studios, and I'm like, okay, if it's here, it's probably because the artist wanted it there that night, and that should probably stay.
I understand.
So I try not to change too much from the original vibes. You know?
Well, you know, the thing is, like, you know, I begin to learn is that it's really about what the rappers want.
For sure.
You know, if it ain't what they want, then it's probably not gonna work out.
Yeah,
you know
definitely.
So that right there is key for anybody trying to get up into this game. Now we got to talk about January 15, 2019. Shout out to Mixed by Ali.
Yes.
You were a part of Engineers, and that's engineers with an ear, actually an ear in there. You know what I'm saying? So one of the people you got to speak to was Jerome.
Actually, that was at NAMM, which was like a few weeks later.
Okay, my bad.
Yeah, it was a few weeks later, but it was like within 2 weeks of each other. Okay. But with the engineers workshop, it was Ali speaking. This was like really like when things starting to get real serious for me, because so after I left school and, you know, started trying to figure it out, I ended up going to Chicago for like 2 years.
Oh, really? What sent you to Chicago?
Well, I thought I would do better in the music industry over there, because I felt like there was a lot of like influx of people here trying to get the same positions that I wanted to get. But it didn't work out, but it's okay. You know? Yeah,
because you are where you are today.
Yeah, it's okay. So I moved back here in 2018. Like June 2018 or something like that. And so at that point in time, I started getting like studio equipment, you know, to be able to work out of my house. And
so you start piece by piece in it yourself.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and in January 2019, I saw Ali was doing like a engineer's workshop, and he was giving away seats to women in the industry. And so I applied or whatever, and he actually ended up giving it to almost everybody that applied, I believe. Oh, wow. So it was a lot of women that got to go. And I got to be a part of it. J.Brock was there. And yeah, that was like my first time really being around like real industry people. And I met a lot of engineers, and you know, I still keep in contact with a lot of them to this day. So that was like second week of January or something. And then like 2 weeks later, I went to NAMM, where Ali also had an engineer's booth. And DJ Head was actually hosting that. Yeah. So I was literally there every single day for every single like seminar that they were doing. And they had like Fabian there, like shout out Fabian. He's the one that I worked with the Lil Wayne stuff on. Shout out Fabian. Yeah, that guy is what? Is he what his bio says? His bio says 1 or 5 Grammy nominations or something. I'm like, bro, why? But you know, he's one of those guys. He said, I got 1 or 5, you know, just regular. You know what I'm saying? Shout out Fabian, man. No, he really is the GOAT. So yeah, I seen Fabian there, DJ Head, Chuck Dizzle, Hero. I don't even know if I'm still saying it right, but yes, J. Cole's engineer. It's actually funny because he was speaking, and at that point, J. Cole had just dropped KOD.
Oh, okay.
And so I don't know why, but I was really a fan of the Kill Edward songs or whatever. So I was telling so it was like a bunch of people in the crowd, and like, I'm short, so I couldn't I couldn't see over a lot of people. And so I was telling the guy next to me, like, he was tall as hell. I was like, hey, like, ask him like what they use on Kill Edward. And he's like, no, I don't want to ask him. And then so like the guy next to me, Adam, shout out Adam, he's actually Huro's best friend from like high school or something. And so that he's like, oh, don't worry, like I'll get him after and you could ask him.
Oh wow, yeah.
And then so like he introduced me to him, and like I got to ask him, and he told me like it was like vocal synth or something like that. And he ended up taking a picture of us. I don't know if that's the one that you saw.
Yeah,
he took a picture of us there. So yeah, that was like Nam crazy, right? And ironically, that's the same Nam that I met Jag at. Jag on the Beat.
Yeah.
And it was because of the engineer's booth. So Jag's best friend, Post, used to work with Ali like some years before that, and he had seen me at the engineer's booth, and we had followed each other. And he's like, hey, like, I think I just seen you at the engineer's booth. And I was like, oh yeah, that was me. And then I was like, hey, like, let's link up. So we were outside of the NAMM show, and then so Post introduced me to Jag, and I introduced him to the other people I was with. And Jag's like, oh, like, I have a studio. It's in LA. It was like in off the 710, like where the 710 ends. And I was like, oh yeah, you know, I'll pull up one day, and followed each other. And like a few weeks later, I saw he was like hiring interns, and that's when I started working with him.
You had to jump on that. That's real. Like, what I'm understanding also is like them intern jobs, you got to take it. Them intern opportunities, you got to take it. That's really where you get them relationships.
Yes, it's hard though, because you know, you got to have a way to sustain yourself in the meantime, because it's never paid, or usually never paid. So I think that's what people struggle with the most, is like doing that and surviving, you know, which is what made it so hard for me back then, is like I didn't have the money to do it. But that time around, I was working a decent job, and I was able to get off early and just go straight over there.
That's what's up, those opportunities, man. Look, if you want to get into this game, like she spoke on that internship, you know, whether you making money or not, it's all about that opportunity. You know what I'm saying? This is something that you really want to do. You got to get in here however you can, where you fit in. So just make sure you stay tuned to whatever internship. Because you know what? Speaking of DJ Head had an internship, right? He was speaking of an intern. And he said, don't DM me. I DM'd him anyway. He seen it, left it unseen. I said, oh, he said, email me, don't DM me. I was like, man, I still wonder if that spot is open. I almost want to ask him to see if that spot is. I got to talk to Brian Salas to see if that spot is open. Shout out to Brian Salas.
Yeah, shout out to Salas, man.
He is doing some real big things. He is a major figure in this LA rap scene, y'all.
Shout out Salas.
Man, for real. So, April 2020, the Mixed Madness.
Yes,
Mixed by
the
Ali.
Madness.
and now Mixed by Ali and Young Guru, they play your song on Instagram Live, and Young Guru seemed to be pretty much blown away.
Yes.
He said, man, everything is what her name is, Cristal VVS. It was perfect. You know, so how did you even get into the Mixed Madness? That thing is like a tournament style. It came all the way down to a championship. You had to vote for the people to win. How was this situation for you?
It was honestly so crazy. So I had applied for the contest. So you had to like submit a mix or whatever. And at this point in time, it was like early pandemic. It was like April, right? So I think we went into the pandemic March. So at this point in time, I submitted it, and I started feeling sick, like a few days later. And he was announcing like all the winners on IG Live or whatever. And I remember like I had went to CVS to buy like some cold medicine because I was feeling sick. And I was still on his IG Live, like still like keeping up with everything he was doing, because I was trying so hard to like make sure I did everything right. And then so they finally comes a day where they, so actually backtrack a little bit. So I was getting the medicine and whatever, and I started feeling real sick, and I took a COVID test.
Okay.
And it turns out like 20 minutes later they told me I had COVID.
Ooh,
but I was like in the first or second day, so I was feeling okay. And they announced the winner, the selected people, and I actually got chose.
Wow.
And I was so like, dude, like I'm sick.
Yeah.
You know, I was like sick, and it was like really bad. Like some people got COVID and they were fine, like they were able to still function, but I was really sick. But I still like wanted to try and, you know, do whatever I can. So at this point, like Jag and I were both sick because, you know, we were doing a lot of sessions at that point in time. So he was at home. So I was like, hey, like, can I use the studio so I could do this mix? And I had just got a new car at that point in time, and I check all my mixes in the car. So they sent me the song, and I do whatever I can with it. And it's funny because I remember this day, like it was so hot, and I struggled to walk. It was literally like not even it was like 0.2 miles from my car to the studio, but like I was struggling because I was super congested and I was like coughing, like, you know, I was trying to like get to the studio, and like whenever I would try to walk, like I'll have to like catch my breath because I felt like I was dying. So I finally get to the studio, and like, you know, I'm there by myself trying to do this mix. I was stressing so hard over it because I think you only had like 1 day to submit it. It was like a very short amount of time. I went, I checked in the car. Everything sounded cool. I was like panicking, and I was also like sick. So I was like, you know what? Like, I don't want to pass out in the studio and like nobody could find me. So I just like was like, I'm not gonna overthink this, and I submitted it, the first round, and I ended up not getting selected for the next round. Shout out to Jason, by the way, because he was the first person I went against, and then he ended up winning the whole contest. Oh wow! Which was so crazy. But yeah, so that was kind of what happened with that. But because I got selected, I got so many other opportunities just from being selected. So even though I didn't make it to the next few rounds, like I was able to get like other opportunities. Like I got a lot of shout outs from my friends, people that I looked up to. So that's kind of when the ball started rolling after I got selected for that. That's crazy because I mean, shoot, for them to even acknowledge your work, you know, because dang, you didn't get selected and they basically had nothing bad to say. Yeah, well, because I had to mix another song. Oh, okay, the other song is where you. Well, I had to mix another song. And like that was when and it was a song that I didn't. It was like I was telling you, like at this point in time, like I was still kind of new. Yeah. And it was somebody. It was like this artist, FIFA? Fee. Okay, Fee. Okay. Yeah, I think I forgot where he's from, but he's like Ali's, like it was Ali, part of Ali's team. Okay. You know, so they sent me the song that they wanted me to mix. So yeah, it was, I learned so much from that because even Fabian, you know, he hit me up, giving me some feedback and, you know, pretty much like, one thing I respect about Fabian is he always keeps it 100 with me. Like he never sugarcoats anything. Yeah, we all need that. So I was basically doing too much on that mix, and I think I was because I wanted to like win or you know make it to the next round, and I just thought like by doing the most it was gonna get me there. But now I would never do everything I did on that mix, you know. Now I gotta ask you now, have you been able to establish a relationship with Mix by Ali? He knows. So he knows who I am. I seen him. So he did another booth or another engineers workshop in 2021, and he did remember me. I believe he still knows who I am. You know, we still follow each other sometimes. You know, every now and then he'll engage with my posts, but we don't have any constant communication. But we are like, I guess, acquaintances. Well, yeah, for anything. I mean, to be that close with Mix by Ali, you know what I'm saying? Especially in doing what you do, that's major. You know what I'm saying? That's very major because like we spoke of relationships. You know what I'm saying? Definitely. And that's what it's really all about. So you got to make sure you maintain them. So I got to ask you now. There was a
a post that you made. You said after 88 different mixed versions, 88 different mixed versions. Then you had your dog sitting right there in the chair, and you said the dog said the first one was the best. Now I gotta ask you, 88 different mixed. That is a lot. 88 times. How many times do people usually mix a song until it sounds like what they want to hear?
That's so funny. Actually, I think the 88 came from a Michael Jackson song.
Oh, okay.
I think it was. I want to say it was "Beat It."
Oh, okay.
I'm not sure.
So was it exaggeration? It was
but the Michael Jackson thing did happen. Yeah. I forgot how many times they mixed it, but they went with like the third version.
Wow.
So sometimes, we tend to overthink, especially if like the songs like you want it to be something special. Mm-hmm. Like sometimes as engineers or artists or producers, whoever's involved, mm-hmm. will try to overthink, mm-hmm. And sometimes it takes one person to be like, you guys are doing too much. Like just stick with the original.
So what would be considered doing too much?
It depends, really. It depends on like what the vision is.
Okay.
Sometimes people like want to just do a lot of extra stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like as an engineer, sometimes you want to add like all these crazy effects and a lot of stuff. And then the artist is like, no, like I don't want it. Like I want it like the original. Mm-hmm. Or sometimes the artist will be like, let me add all these harmonies, even though I already feel like the song is done, but I want to add more harmonies. And then we add them, and then they're like, oh no, actually, like I'm just gonna stick with the previous version. Mm-hmm. So it really just depends. Or sometimes the producer will be like, let me remake the beat, and it's like, well, we like the beat how it is, So it just, one person can always be doing too much, and it takes like someone to be like, no, like
just chill.
This is fine.
Yeah. I understand it now. One of the things you spoke on was listening to the music in your car. Now, shout out to my guy Mixed by Crook again. Remember, I was telling you that's how I found out who you were. Mm-hmm. He spoke about listening to it through his headphones, then going in the car. I heard Nipsey Hussle say that too. Like I got to listen to it in the car. So what is your method after you mix something? How many different times you got to listen to? How many different ways? What is your strategy of making sure that you get the best sound out of it?
I definitely listen in the car. I listen in headphones, and that's why sometimes some artists get frustrated because it takes me a little bit to like make sure everything is good, But they want it like right then and there, and I get it. I get it.
For sure.
I try to move as quickly as I can, but also, if they want a quality work, I have to take some time with it. I'm not saying I'm gonna take months, but it's gonna take me a few days because like. After you mix for like 8 hours, your ears start to like hear stuff that's not even
there. Huh?
Yeah, so you gotta just take a break and then come back to it. But when you do get to like higher level artists, like Kanye West type stuff, like it's more of like nonstop, But me, like I try to take my time because. I have the relationship with my artist to where I could take a little bit more time. I listen to in my AirPods. I listen in the old Apple.
She not playing. She said she listened to it in the AirPods and the wired earphones.
The wired ones.
That is something. She is not playing, y'all, at all. Do you listen to it in the Drake beats too?
No, I don't have.
Oh, okay. What to say?
Yeah, but some people still have the old one. I still have the wired ones because sometimes I get lazy to charge the damn AirPods.
No, I feel you. My AirPods been sitting up dead for 2 weeks. I understand.
I think I'm probably in the same.
I don't even get a light on no more. Everything is off. It's true. I feel you. I feel you.
Yeah, I'm still. I also bought these other Bluetooth ones from like Target for like $20 just to listen in a different perspective because you never know what people are listening with. So.
I understand. Well, shout out to Dr. Dre, real heavy. Of course, I ain't even got to say he's a legend. You should already know. But that was one of the things. Like you understand. You have to have a specific ear. You know what I'm saying? You listening for all the little stuff, every hi-hat. And like I noticed that too because like I listen to music and I love to hear the stuff that people aren't listening for, the little like harmonies in the background. Like one of the things I noticed about Young Dolph's music is he usually has like some type of melody in the background of the music that you might not pick up on. But I'm saying that to say, you listen to the music so much. How often does the music get played out to you before you finally like, ugh? Because music got to get, I mean, if you listen to a song 30 times in 1 hour, at some point, you know.
Well, the funny thing is, I actually rarely listen to music for myself.
Okay.
So like, I did listen to the Summer Walker new album.
Yeah.
That I did make it a point to listen to that.
Yeah.
But other than that, I'm really just listening to the music that I'm working on, because, I mean, I don't know if other engineers feel like this, but I have like a limited mental capacity of how much music I could listen to.
Oh, that's different.
In a day.
Okay.
Or like ever, you know? So like.
Why is that? Well, why do you think that is?
Because I feel like since I'm doing it every day and like I'm in these long studio sessions, like sometimes I just want to go home and I just want it to be quiet.
You just want to go home in silence. Wow.
Yeah.
I feel that. I feel that. Okay. I can understand that. That's crazy that you say that, because, I mean, when you think about it, that's your job. You know, like, it maybe guys in the NFL might not play the video game Madden because they're tired of football by the time they go home, spending so many hours, you know, doing what they do. So, like, July 17, 2020, Crystal Clarity Studio in North Hollywood. You spoke on, after a year of working with Jag on a beat, I went from being an intern to having my own studio. And I got to tell you, the logo that you have is iconic.
Oh, thank
the
you.
Music notes as the hair, the color, it's just perfect. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to that. Now, let's talk about getting your own studio. It looked like you actually built everything by yourself. You posted a video where you were hammering stuff on the wall. You were wiring things up. Now, speak on getting your studio and what that moment meant for you.
Well, it got to so Jag was very kind to let me use his studio to record people while he wasn't there. But it got to the point where I started getting more clients and they wanted to book when Jag had sessions. So obviously his sessions were going to be a priority because it's his studio, you know? Right. So I told him like, hey, like I want to get my own studio. And then he was like, oh, so our original plan was I was going to keep his old studio where I was working out of, and he was going to get a new studio out in North Hollywood, because his studio was like in LA, kind of like by Cal State LA, so like wherever that's at. And we ended up finding this building in North Hollywood with 2 rooms available. So he got the bigger room and I got the small room, which is my old room. And that room was like empty, like it was empty and very dull, like it just looked real depressing in there.
Oh man.
So there was like literally nothing in there, and I started like building stuff, trying to figure everything out. I actually used my stimulus check.
Okay. Shout out to man.
to get this studio.
Make it work for you. That's right.
Yeah, because I wasn't able to get any of the extra stuff because I was working a job. So I couldn't get any of the, extra money or whatever, just the stimulus.
She said I couldn't get the PPP.
I couldn't get any of that. Yeah, but I wish I would have, because my studio would have been crazier. But yeah, so I used that, and then I was still working my job when I got the studio, and all the money I was making from the first couple months, I was just putting it right back into the studio, just to get like all the equipment, and I was really just trying to figure it out, like what should I buy next, like how could I make this more of a vibe. So it worked out. I was in that room from July, it was like late June to like April, so almost a year. And the only reason why I was able to get that room, my new room, is because the guy left. The guy that was in there left, and in my building, like nobody ever leaves. So it really was a struggle. That worked out, yeah. It was a struggle because like my other room was small, and in order to get bigger clients, I had to get a bigger room, like more of a vibe, like where people can bring extra people and all that stuff. So I ended up, ironically, the guy left on my birthday, which was February.
February what?
February 19th.
Oh, my birthday, February 21st. I was going to say.
a few days apart.
Yeah.
So that was like kind of crazy. So I had the room since February, but it was really messed up. Like the floorboards were like I don't know what happened. Like the floorboards were cracked. The paint it actually used to be Billy Ray Cyrus's room. Like,
oh wow! Okay.
Like 10 years ago. But the guy that was in there before was not Billy Ray Cyrus. So the walls were burgundy, and it looked like a Nashville old type studio. And I was like, no, I don't want burgundy. And I had to get new floors, I had to get new paint, I had to get panels, I had to get everything. But this time around, I had a little bit more money saved up, so I didn't have to do everything myself. I had to hire somebody to do everything. And so I got the panels, I got the paint, got everything. And then like finding the furniture took a while because everything was bought like on separate occasions. Like I was like, oh, this will look nice. Oh, this will look nice. So like I didn't really go into it with, oh, it's gonna look like this. I just kind of just started buying stuff and
piece by piece.
Yeah, and then it just turned out the way it turned out. But ever since I've been in that room, I've been able to get better clients. You know, just more sessions, more money. It's been a good investment.
Yeah, I feel that I mean, what ultimately you had to build it from the ground up. That's what you did. That's the way things work out. So shout out to that. Now, November 2020. Let's talk about this No Ceilings 3, y'all. Yes, she has worked with the legendary Lil Wayne. Like you said, shout out to Fabian, because Fabian, like we mentioned before, 5-time. Come on now, listen. She is working with a lot of people who win Grammys. You know what I'm saying? And she is Grammy nominated herself. You got to understand is when you start to work with people like that, it just comes to you as well. You know what I'm saying? So what was it like? Because you said, never did I imagine I have a chance to touch a Wheezy project.
Yes.
Now, what was it like being a part of that? Do you remember the call? You like, what was that like?
So it's funny because with Fabian, you know, he's really been a big help. Like just any questions that I have about like industry stuff, like whenever I get stuck or like I gotta, you know, I have a problem, like hey, how do I do this? Or like how do I get this taken care of? Like how do I get my invoices paid? You know, like because when you go work with like big labels like Universal or Atlantic, like they have different processes, you know, like that you have to go through. And he's really been a big help, just helping me figure that stuff out. Because on my side, I don't really have anybody that's as connected as he is, you know. So he definitely helped me with a lot of that stuff. And, you know, we've kept in contact since NAMM 2019. So at this point, or he told me like at one point, like, oh, like 2020, like we're gonna get in the studio, like for sure gonna get in the studio. But you know, things happen. Like I get busy, he gets busy. Like
that's the way it goes. Yes, it is.
He's always working on like 20 different projects at one time. So it's just like it's so crazy. He's a beast. So it was like November of last year. It was around Thanksgiving, and he was working on the No Ceilings 3. And you know, the holidays coming up, like he has stuff to do, and he needed a hand finishing up everything to make sure it was ready to be submitted for the label. So he called me up. I went over to his old studio in what was it called? Porter Ranch.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, Porter Ranch.
Porter Ranch.
Come on now,
yeah.
Porter Ranch.
He's
for real.
He's no longer there, but yeah, I was there, and I pretty much like I had to go there to work on everything. Like I couldn't work out of my studio. Just, you know.
But that was a nice change of scene, though.
Yeah,
you know?
For sure. Yeah. And you know, I got to like actually see like where he works out of, and really just get to interact with him, and you know, I also got to meet his wife. So it was really game changing. I was there for like 3-4 days, and I was really I was nervous because I wanted to make sure that everything was like on point, you know, because he was like, I'm trusting you. Like, I'm trusting you. Like, I'm not even going to listen to these. So I was like, oh my God. Like, you know, so like everything got to be good.
Ooh, that's pressure, boy. Hey, like they say, pressure busts pipes, but it also make diamonds. Come on now.
Yeah, so it got to the point where he just had to kick me out because I was like,
really?
Well, not like that, but you know, like, hey girl, like we got to finish these.
You
up.
was just so critical on it.
I was, you know, trying to figure this out, but it got done. It got submitted. Everything was made it on time. So that was pretty crazy because I really didn't think I was going to work on a Wayne project.
And you did that.
Yeah, shout out Fabian.
Yeah, facts, you did that. How many people can say that they worked with Lil Wayne?
Yeah,
that's something beautiful. Now, this wouldn't be the only time you would actually work on Trust Fund Babies.
Yes,
with Lil Wayne and Rich the Kid. If y'all have not tapped into Trust Fund Babies, tap in because Cristal VVS is all through that thing.
Yes,
now
definitely.
Working on it, double back. Was it Fabian again?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Yes. So when you got the second opportunity, what were some of the things that you knew that you had to apply this time rather than the first time?
Well, so this was like a whole year after.
Yeah.
So I was a lot faster.
Okay.
And you know, I figured out how to make it like faster for him. I think this time it only took me like 1 or 2 days to do what I had to do. For that project, so it was definitely I was definitely able to do it faster, and I wasn't overthinking everything because a lot of the times, like, you know, it's stuff that I do every single day, but when it comes to like it being Lil Wayne, you just automatically like forget everything. So you're just like,
I understand that. You know, it's just. Sometimes it's just a little different, you know. Sometimes it's like, okay, this got to be extra perfect, you know? And then also as well, just the relationship that's going on with that, you know. So that's a beautiful thing. Now we got a 2-time Grammy nominated, y'all. Yeah, 2-time Grammy nominated. And many more to come. We're going to claim that. We're going to manifest that, y'all. Now, you will get to work on the KANYEWEST DONDA project, the song New Again. Yes. You said, I still haven't fully processed this actually happened. Shout out to Sam. Shout out to Sounds by Dawson.
Yes.
4-time Grammy nominated, y'all. She on her way to many more. You got to understand that. Now, the picture you posted, you guys were actually in a warehouse. You know, it was Kanye West-esque. You know what I'm saying? In a big old warehouse, the speakers. I don't know if that was Kanye West in that picture or he was dressed up.
It was 88 Keys.
Okay, 88 Keys. Shout out to 88 Keys. But what was that like being able to work on Donda, you know what I'm saying, on a project that Kanye West is putting out?
It was crazy because I remember, after I moved, you know, in first grade or whatever.
Man, this goes back to first grade,
first
y'all.
Grade.
Yeah, for real. This is crazy.
I spent a lot of time alone, you know, because my mom was always at work, so I'd always be just watching like TV and stuff, and she would buy me like the bootleg DVDs. So one of those bootleg DVDs, it was like a music video DVD that had like just a bunch of random music videos. Like I remember Sierra was on there, like Goodies.
Oh man, Goodies!
The P.D. Pablo one. And then the Kanye West one was there too, the Jesus Walks.
Yeah, that was a different era.
It was.
Different era. Wow.
So I remember, growing up, you know, I did speak English, but I didn't speak, like, it wasn't my first language. It was Spanish. So when I would like hear songs, I would always be like, what the hell? Like, what did he just say? So when I seen the Kanye West Jesus Walks, I was like, he's rapping about Jesus. Like Jesus, like, does he mean Jesus, or am I like
about the name Jesus?
Yeah, like I was like wondering, like, what it like. But then, you know, watching the video, you're just like, what? That's so crazy. Like that takes a lot of like guts, you know, to rap about Jesus, because all these other videos that I was watching, they were like, you know, like sex and all this stuff. So I thought that music video was so like touching to me.
Wow, yeah, for sure.
So that was like the first time I ever heard Kanye West, and then pretty much every project that he's dropped, like I've related to. especially like the early ones, like Graduation and College Dropout. Like a lot of those songs like shaped like my teenage years and my early teenage years.
People don't really like 808 and Heartbreaks. I like that project though.
I like it. I do like it.
I mean, it's probably not one of course, it's not one of his best to people, but it's.
I do like it. I like a lot of his projects for sure. So when I got the call from Dawson, you know, shout out Dawson.
Shout out Dawson. Yeah.
So it's funny because I had seen Dawson on like in Atlanta. So they did like at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. He was like in a small room, like just recording Kanye, and it just like all the pictures looked very, like you said, like Kanye like vibes,
Kanye
like real like blurry, but like it was like on purpose. So I DM'd Dawson because I actually met him at the Engineers NAMM 2020.
Okay.
Or 20, I don't remember which one I met him at, but I had met him there at Ali's thing, and I DM'd him like, hey dude, like I'm super proud of you, like you're doing it, like you're working with Kanye West, right? And he's like, oh thank you, blah blah blah. And I would just see him post and stuff, and it was just super like exciting just to see him do it. And then like one day I was at my studio, like I was actually working on the Lil Wayne stuff for Fabian, and he was like, hey, are you busy right now? And I was like, well, I'm just finishing up these Lil Wayne, or I didn't say Lil Wayne, I just said I'm finishing up some edits because at this point nobody knew he was gonna drop. So he's like, do you want to come work with Kanye? And I was like, what? He's like, yeah, he's about to land in a few hours in LA and they need an engineer in LA. And I was like, what the hell? I was like, no way. He's like, yeah, just like scream, cry, do whatever you gotta do. But like, you know, like, but I was just like, oh my God, this is so crazy because this is Kanye West. Right, like, and I'm working on Lil Wayne stuff right now. So it was just like,
just boom, boom, boom.
Yeah, like that's so crazy. So I actually ended up taking my equipment over to Kanye because since he was just landing, they didn't have anything like readily available. So I just packed up my whole studio. I didn't know what he was gonna need, and I took it over there. And it like I actually cried on the way to the studio.
Man, I could imagine. I could imagine.
I cried because I was like, you know what? I have to let it all out right now. Because when I meet Kanye, I can't lose my composure because that's one thing that I've learned is like artists don't like it when you like fan out, even though you're a fan.
They say the fangirl. The homegirl Giggles used to be saying that. You know, she said she had a problem with fangirl, and you got to control the fangirl. And okay.
No, I've definitely like since I started working, or when I was working with Jag. I always just kept everything like real neutral, like. You know, just never acted like a fan, even though I was like dying inside. You know,
inside you like,
yeah. But with the Kanye stuff, so like I started like listening to Jesus Walks on the way there, just like a whole Kanye playlist, because I was like, this is really happening. Yeah. So I get there and like it was at a warehouse and I couldn't find it, and then like it was like real discreet. The dude opened the door.
I know that built up frustration. He's like, where's it at? Where's it at?
Well, I was like asking Dawson, but Dawson was still in Atlanta. So he was like, I have no idea. Like, you have to talk to this person. So we finally figured it out. I got my equipment in there. I was setting up, and then like Kanye just walks in there. And I was just like, hi. Like, I think he said like, hello. He's like, hello, and I just like kept doing what I was doing because I was like, I don't want him to like, think that I'm like fanning out. But Kanye made it a point to walk up to me and shake my hand and call me by my name. So it was like really like.
Was this before you introduced yourself to him?
Yeah, like he came up to me.
So he knew your name already.
Yeah, because they told him that I was.
Okay, cool, for sure.
Yeah, so he was like, hi, I'm Ye. Nice to meet you. That was what he said.
Beautiful thing.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Oh, he was like, Cristal, excuse me, because I was like, still doing what I was doing.
Yeah, because you don't know what to do.
I was nervous. I was like, I don't know if he wants me to talk to him or not talk to him. So I just kept, setting up. And then he's like, I'm Ye. I was like, oh, Cristal, nice to meet you. But it was very courteous, and he started telling me like where he wanted everything. So I had to switch the setups, like multiple, because I had to like actually set up, you know, the recording stations and stuff. So we moved it different times just to make sure it was what he wanted. So I did that for like 1 or 2 days, and then I didn't go for like 2 days, and they called me back. So it was just like a lot of back and forth, like, I was kind of on call. And then Dawson finally got there from Atlanta. And then my other engineer homie, Pat, shout out Pat. He was there. Like, so we all kind of just like tag team everything. And Big Lou, who he's like, I just met him doing the DONDA stuff. And he is like a whole like genius. Like he says he's a master networker, but I feel like he does more than that. Because he has relationships with a bunch of companies and stuff.
Man, so relationships.
Yes, everything that we needed, like equipment-wise, like he was able to get it. Like anything that we needed, we went to him. He was like quarterbacking everything. Like shout out Big Lou. And I still am in contact with him. And he actually recently helped me get in the studio with Kodak Black, which is so crazy.
Kodak Black.
Yeah.
Come on now.
Yeah. So shout out Big Lou.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Okay. It's only getting bigger.
It's so crazy because like originally I was supposed to work with Drake. That night.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I was supposed to work with Drake that night. But the producer that was there like ended up bringing Kodak, which I was still like,
oh, that's a beautiful thing.
Like what? Beautiful Kodak?
Thing. Yeah.
But if it would have been Drake, honestly, I don't know how it would have reacted.
I mean, what it's just heavy hitter right there. Boom, boom, boom. She coming back and forth, y'all. Come on now. Cristal VVS got it going, baby. You gotta trust the process. Come on now. It's only getting bigger and better.
Definitely.
Beautiful thing. It's only getting bigger and better. This is inspiring to me. Just really inspiring because just look at where you came from.
For sure.
To where you are. Like, my goodness, man. Come on, clap it up. We got to clap it up for Cristal. She on some big things now. Now, I mean, throughout this whole situation and actually being Grammy nominated. Now, when was the first time you were Grammy nominated?
It was this time.
Okay, so it was
so this year, Donda went for Best Rap Album and Album of the Year.
Okay.
So that's 2 nominations.
Oh, okay,
so
got
that's
you.
how it's like calculated.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, so like Dawson, he got to touch more songs on the album, so he got 4 Grammy nominations. So
wow.
Yeah.
Talk about, come on now. Man, that's a beautiful thing. That's a beautiful
pretty
thing.
Crazy.
Yeah, it's many more to come though.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I never would expect that my first one would be with Kanye, and you know, Donda also went gold. Man. So it's technically my first gold project that I worked on. I haven't posted it yet because I'm kind of waiting for it to go platinum. Yeah.
Okay, I feel that. Yeah. So
gold.
Okay, so that's how it works. So that if you touch it, that's automatically you. Since you were part of that, you get the award as well.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yes.
That's a beautiful thing. So do you actually get like the Grammy thing?
So the funny part is, if it wins Album of the Year, yes. Okay. Because this year they made it available to everybody that worked on a project.
Oh, that's that whole thing where they were talking about everybody gets the credits.
Yeah. They've been doing that for a few years, but basically, like this year, if you win Album of the Year, you and your whole team get the Grammy.
Oh, okay.
But if Donda wins Best Rap Album, I get a certificate, like a Grammy certificate, which is still like. You know,
that's
like
a big thing. Come on now,
but it's not the actual
that's a big
trophy.
Thing. That's a big thing. No matter how you put it, that's a big thing.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, just even being able to be in the studio with Kanye West,
that's huge.
Like I would have been happy with just
huge.
that. You know?
That is very huge. And congratulations to you on
Thank
that.
you.
Like I said, I'm praying for many more. I'm rooting for you, definitely.
Thank you.
Now, when are they supposed to select, or was it already? When are they supposed to pick it, or choose?
January 31st.
Okay, January 31st. So y'all be on the lookout. January 31st. Y'all be on the lookout.
Yes.
Now, speaking on all of the artists that you have been able to work with, if I forget any names, please feel free to fill me in. Now, you have mixed for Airplane James, Mars and the Grouch, My Guy Mars, Reason, G Perico, Rimble, Lotto Rocket, Rucci. Hey, come on now, y'all. This list goes on and on. Rucci, AZ Chike, Bravo the Bag Chaser, Kanye West, Lil Wayne, Rich the Kid, Asia, and more. Fill me in on anybody else that I might be missing.
Peso.
Shout out
Free
Peso. Free Peso, yes sir.
Yeah, I got to do a little sessions with him while he was on house arrest, and worked on something with him and Mozzie.
Shout out Mozzie.
I also, YG was a part of that Trust Fund Babies project. There was somebody else too that I was gonna say while you were naming your list.
Man.
But yeah, you pretty much got all of them. I'm also working on something right now with Ugly God.
Okay.
Which I actually met him on Clubhouse.
Oh, you know what? But see, that situation is crazy. Clubhouse has actually been beneficial because shoot, I got to interview DW Flame off of Clubhouse.
Yeah.
Because I was like, hey bro, check your DM. He was like, all right, bet. He checked it and we set up an interview.
Yeah.
Right? So Clubhouse has definitely been beneficial. It definitely is.
Yeah, and also right now, I'm working on a few collaborations with Lo the Great.
Shout out Lo the Great.
Yeah, shout out Lo the Great.
I went to Cristal with Lo the Great. Lo the Great was actually one of the first few people I got to interview.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I interviewed Lo the Great probably 2019. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Right up at his house, pulled up. Yeah, that was something
awesome.
crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, we've been trying to figure out how to tag team a few things. So.
And everything he put out is booming.
Yeah, he
Shout
is
out Great.
definitely one of the hottest producers in LA right now.
Yeah, for sure.
Very talented, very driven, very hungry. So I really respect him.
Man, for sure. And he's been going up, and
for sure.
From before, because one of the things he told me was like he ran through a bunch of computers. He said his grandma used to keep buying his computers, fixing his computers. He said people told him that his beats sucked. He went through a lot of things,
definitely.
But to this day, when you look at him today, that's a testament to where he has came from. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
So make sure y'all tap in with Lo the Great.
Definitely.
Yeah. Now, we got to speak on just the first time. What did you call? You said first time it was ADR for Watts Homie Quan.
Yes.
Watts Homie Quan show.
Yes.
Coming up in LA.
Yes.
What was that situation like? And shout out to Watts Homie Quan.
Yeah, shout out Watts Homie Quan.
I got a funny story with that. As I was trying to interview Watts Homie Quan, I ended up chasing him away because I was DMing him. I'm like, bro, what's up with the interview? First he was like, yeah, and then I kept DMing him, and he was just like, I was like, okay, I understand. Cool.
Yeah, I think
someday.
Just people get busy.
Yeah, that's all. Much love to him, dog.
DMs get overflooded.
Yeah. No, I understand. It's okay.
For sure.
Watts Homie Quan, shout out to you. It's all love. I'm still hoping to interview you. If you see this, man, let's try to put it together, man, whenever we can, bro.
Yeah, shout out Watts Homie Quan.
Yeah.
Like overall, aside from the business stuff, like he's a real stand-up dude, like really respectful, really cares about his family. Like just from the few sessions that we did in the studio, I could tell he really has a big heart. So I really respect people that take care of their people, Other than that, like when I seen the show for the first time, like I was dying. Like I couldn't wait for it to come out. Pretty much what we ended up doing is he had recorded did his scenes, had a boom mic on set or whatever, and there was some lines that he wanted to redo or have his talent redo. So I actually had, a lot of people pull up from the show, and one of them was actually Duno.
Yeah, shout out Duno.
Shout out Duno. So yeah, it was kind of cool just being in a different type of environment. We recorded, like I said, we recorded lines over that he wanted redone, and we spent about, I want to say 3 days in the studio, just because he had to have like different people coming in and leaving and going, and just.
Well, that was a busy situation.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
But it was really dope. It was a different type of experience for me. One of my first ADR projects for sure. I had mixed a short film like a few months before that.
That's crazy. She said I mixed a short film. Ain't that something? Somebody said they had to mix a movie or mix a show. That is crazy.
It's a thing. And,
yeah, that's crazy.
And there's so much more money on that side, which is why it's good to get the experience. But I don't have a lot of access to it right now. But I have so many other things going on that I haven't had the chance to really like look for those opportunities. But I'm sure if I look, I will find something.
Wait a minute. BET probably, because you got to understand, when on a movie, like I did a reenactment of Baby Boy on BET, when you know how they do when somebody say a cuss word and they say front door or something like that. So that is something then, because that's all mixing actually when you think about it. They mixing all these different words into it. Okay.
It's definitely like a whole process. Like it's not just what you record on set. Like it's a whole thorough process, and it takes a lot of people to get that type of stuff done. So
Well, what was it? How much did you enjoy this process? What relationships were you able to build during this?
Watomi Kwan. So it was actually our first time ever working together and ever meeting. The only time I had ever worked with him before was I had mixed a song that he did with one of the artists that I work with. But other than that, it was like our first time collaborating, and like he was just like really easy to work with. So I think our relationship got to where it is now because of those sessions that we had. Other than that, the people that he brought in, like his homie, I think his name is Lincoln. I hope I said that right. I think that's LV on the Vision or something like that. So he was cool. He was there every single day.
I wasn't laughing at you either, bro.
Sorry if I messed that up.
So
so he was there every day, and then just a bunch of people that he brought through. I think the only one that I really was able to build a little bit more rapport with that day was Duno. It's funny because he was talking about the Kanye album, but he didn't know that I worked on it.
Oh no! Wait, so he was criticizing it?
No, he was just saying like that it wasn't really like a big deal for him, you know?
Yeah.
And he's like, "Did you listen to it, Cristal?" And I was like, "Yeah, I worked on it." He's like, "My bad." But I don't take none of that personal because
shout out because Duno and the homies, they put out a whole project. I'm still waiting on the Duno interview. Whenever we do it, I'll be around. I done ran into Duno plenty of times. Duno was actually the reason why I ended up meeting Brian Salas.
Oh, really?
Duno, like I said, much love to Duno, but I was trying to go after. I'm like going after Duno. I'm like, Duno, come on, I want to interview with you. He kind of was like, bro. He didn't say it, but it was kind of like, bro, get on my face. So I went to go sit down. Shout out to Cypress Marino, Catch 22. Went to go sit down. Cypress introduced me to Brian Salas, but had Duno not, kind of.
Wait, was this at Irene's party?
No, it was a listening party for SVG.
Okay.
Yeah. So had Duno not, did that, I wouldn't have went to go sit down to get introduced. But shout out to Duno, much love, bro. One day, I don't know when, but one day, you know what I'm saying? So, and it's crazy because sometimes, it's like that. Like one door closes and another door opens.
Oh, for sure.
But you got to understand
it's
okay. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
It's definitely okay. Now, you saying for sure. Now, what door has closed for you that opened up another door?
Because I really respect Salas.
Yeah,
I actually, Salas and I, have built a relationship throughout the time that I've known him, because he manages
DJ Head
and My Guy Mars.
Okay,
So I was working with My Guy Mars for some time, and that was how Salas, I guess, learned of me. And that's we actually started on Twitter because Salas loves going on Twitter. If y'all didn't know. Man. I mean, but see, it's just so much game he gives. He gives for
it on
sure.
Twitter. I mean, Salas is jokes at the same time.
Yes, definitely.
You know what I'm saying? And the funny thing is, I would say I haven't been, since I've been interviewing more people in the LA music scene, it's not one interview that that they don't mention Salas.
Yeah, he's definitely
that's a GOAT right there.
Yeah, he's a big part of it all.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's funny because I seen when Airplane was getting ready to drop his project that he just dropped like a few months ago, and Asia, they both had DJ Head, they both had DJ Head pull up, and I think Salas only pulled up for the Airplane James one. But that was when I seen DJ Head again after NAM, right? But he didn't remember me because I was like in the crowd or whatever. And
that's how it works.
Yeah, so like, yourself. So that's how DJ Head and I like started interacting with each other, and he actually shouted me out when I did the Kanye stuff, and that was really monumental for me as well, because a few years ago I was just watching him doing these like seminars at the engineers booth, and I even told him, like, because like, I'm sure nobody wants to hear like the moment you inspire them, like unless it's the right time. Get tired
of hearing it.
Yeah, for sure. So I told him, like, hey, like, I really appreciate this, because like a few years ago, like I was just watching you interview people like that were doing stuff that I wanted to do. And one thing that he told me is that for him, like, he really fucks with people that actually make things happen, because a lot of people say they or don't want it as bad as they say they want it. So I guess at that point I kind of proved myself. So so it was a big deal for me to have respect from DJ Head, because he's really, him and Salas are really a tough crowd.
Yeah, for sure.
So
and if you don't know anything else about DJ Head, I guarantee you one thing you will understand is DJ Head keeps it real,
definitely,
raw, and uncut, whether you like it or not.
Definitely,
he's gonna tell you just like it is.
Definitely,
and that was one of the things that Salas was telling me too. He was like, I'm gonna tell you how it is. Like, what the hell I gotta lie to you for? You know what I'm saying? Why do I have to lie to you? If I don't like it, I don't like it.
Definitely.
But all you can do is respect that.
Definitely.
Because it's something that you can learn from.
Definitely.
So that's a beautiful, beautiful thing. Now we got to speak on rebranding yourself. There's a lot of people we have to rebrand ourselves sometimes.
For sure.
Like one of the biggest ones I know of is 2 Chainz going from Titty Boy to 2 Chainz. You know what I'm saying? Like real rap though. He rebranded himself and exploded. Now you said rebranding from Mixed by Cristal to Cristal VVS, December 1st to 2021. Now for those who don't know, VVS Diamonds. This is the clearest, most expensive, one of the most expensive and one of the most clearest that you can buy. And as you know, Cristal is a mixing engineer, a recorder, and she prides herself on putting out crystal clear product. So I decided to rebrand myself as a person, but I'm still going crazy on these mixes. Plus, I'm working on other services I'll be providing in 2022. Now, I got to ask you, does the diamond have anything to do with this? And where and why did you feel like it was important to rebrand yourself at this point in time?
So I will not be selling diamonds.
We know she ain't gonna be selling no diamonds. I'm just saying,
No, but somebody did ask if I was gonna be selling diamonds.
Oh,
no.
wow.
I would not be selling diamonds because I'm not ready for that life.
Okay, well, just so you know. You know what I'm saying? Don't be trying to run up on Cristal before she get up in the studio thinking she's selling diamonds. Don't do that. This is all about music, baby.
I'm dead. So I actually decided to rebrand myself because I am now starting to produce. So, on Instagram or Twitter or whatever, when they see Mixed by, people automatically put you in a box.
Okay, got you. 100.
Like, you're just an engineer. What do you know?
Yeah.
Or so before all this, when I had my jobs, like I was selling cars, which is like not an easy job, and it's also like very male dominated. But I learned a lot of business strategies, marketing, everything, and that's how I've been running my business. So, I'll have good ideas, and I'm not saying that all my ideas are good, but a lot of them are, but people don't really respect me or not respect me, but they don't really trust me with some of my ideas because they just see me as an engineer.
Okay.
So I decided to take off the Mixed by because I'm doing a lot more than just engineering. And I'm not saying that I'm doing that for everybody. It's just the way people perceive you, is like, okay, yeah, she's an engineer, but she also knows how to do X, Y, Z. Not like, oh, she only knows how to engineer. Like, stay in your lane. No. you know. So now I'm starting to produce, and also I'm working on ways to make money that are not strictly with engineering. They're still music related, but they're not just engineering. And along the way, I'm helping other people that are coming up as well. So it's a whole rebrand, just so people don't see me as just engineer.
I feel that now. How much do you enjoy producing?
So I really just got into it like not that long ago.
What made you get into it?
Well, I feel like I have the ability to do it, and I think it's definitely more skin in the game for a song. So like as an engineer, you do have skin in the game because you know you're bringing the song, like for it to be full circle. Like, but when you're a producer, it's like you literally made half the song.
Yeah,
like
sure.
You know, like there would be no song without the beat, right?
Yeah,
so
sure.
I just want to be more hands-on and have a little bit more creative input on a song than just being an engineer. You know, because there's only so much I could do as an engineer, and you know, it's just like it's limited like on a song. So if I get into producing, then I'll have more of like my creative vision on a song.
That's right. Yeah, that creativity is gonna take it to a whole nother level,
Definitely.
a whole nother spin.
And producers make more money than engineers.
That's right.
You know,
get into that back. And see, that's the beautiful thing I enjoy about this industry is it's so many ways.
Yeah,
so many ways you can go. It's so many ways. Like shout out my guy Cyrus Mino Catch 22. I emceed the other night at his place. It was only like 12 people there, but I was emceeing. I'm like, you know what? I really want to do this. And he was like, bro, you can MC every night you come here. And I'm like, you know, I want to see myself emceeing in front of 20,000 people one day on the stage, you know? And it's just like, you know, don't limit yourself. Don't put yourself in the box, like you said. Don't put yourself in the... What I've learned is nobody wants to be put in the box in this industry.
Definitely.
Nobody at all. Like,
Definitely.
For real. Like, it's many hats you can wear here, and it's no reason to limit yourself.
Definitely.
Then we got to speak on Rolling Loud. It seemed like you had the time of your life in Rolling Loud.
Everybody keeps saying that.
Was this the first time you were at Rolling Loud?
Yes, it was my first time.
Okay, for sure.
Yes, it was definitely my first time.
How was that experience for you?
So this wasn't like a regular Rolling Loud. It was like, you know, kind of restricted from what I heard.
Oh, yeah.
So honestly, Rolling Loud was dope, but I think just like everything we did before Rolling Loud was real exciting as well. So I went with AZ Chike, and like the days leading up to Rolling Loud, like we were just like, you know, just hype, like
the energy was building.
Yeah, we were just hype, like me, him, Gonzo, his tour manager Stella, like we were just like hype in the studio, like thinking of ways to, you know, bring excitement. But at the end of the day, you know, AZ Chike, he's really like hands-on. Everything he did, like he came up with everything on his own. Like we were just like, you know, just hype, like oh, what about if he did this, or what about if he did that? But at the end of the day, like he really just put it all together himself and like really put on a show. You know, the crowd was buck wild. Yeah, no, that's right. You know, that's what but like even just like in the morning, just meeting up with everybody, getting ready, driving there, like you know, just joking in the car, like just everything was like it was a fun experience. You know, and after Rolling Loud, we had to leave right away because I guess the artists weren't allowed to stay there. Yeah. So we ended up going back to the studio after that. So it was like me, him, Stella, Gonzo, Mike Sherm pulled up, AZ Sway, AZ Kilo, and then Mike Sherm's other friend that I don't remember his name, but they have songs together. He actually performed at Rolling Loud as well. So yeah, we were just there, just chilling, vibing. It was definitely an eventful day.
Yeah, I'm already knowing, you know, being that an event as big as that, you know, especially being backstage and being a part of what's going on.
Yeah, it was my first time being backstage for sure.
And that's incredible, especially being at Rolling Loud. Now, you know, I got the women in audio mixer, which was held December 19th.
Yes.
How important is that for you to make sure you be a part of something that's here for the women?
You know, I always wanted to do something like that, but I just never did it until another engineer her name is also Cristal.
Oh wow! Shout out to her. Yeah.
And it's CHRI, not CRI, which is actually kind of funny because we're literally just one letter apart. But she actually works with Ali very closely. So she used to live in New York. She moved here, and she hit me up like, "Hey, we should do something for women in audio or whatever," because, you know, there's other people. I think one of our friends, Stephanie in Florida, was doing something like that. So Cristal and I met up to plan everything, and, you know, we kind of just planned it. We weren't really sure like how things were gonna be. We didn't know how many people were gonna come, and we put it out there. We got a lot of support. I really appreciate everybody that follows me, because everybody's always showing support for everything that I do. So it's really amazing to always have that. We had about 12 women show up. So it was real intimate, but it was really dope because everybody was like at a different stage in their career. Some were just starting out, some were trying to get started, some were like, you know, trying to get an internship.
Man, and you've been in all of those levels.
Yes, definitely. So I didn't realize how important it was to have a space like that until I actually did it. I was like, oh my God, like there is other women out here that are going through the exact same stuff that I was going through when I was trying to get into the industry. So like, now that I know that there is women that can benefit from this, like I'm gonna start getting more engaged in providing those types of spaces for women to be able to talk about anything and everything, because it really felt like a circle of just us talking. But we got to talk about like finances, like being in the studio. You know, some women shared stories of them getting disrespected in the studio by males. So it's just like we could talk about anything, and it's like a safe space because there's nobody that's gonna like try to blackball you or like, you know, like give you any sort of repercussion for speaking out on something that happened, because you know, stuff does happen, and sometimes as women we don't want to talk about it because we're afraid that we're gonna lose out on opportunities because we spoke on something that should have never made it out. Yeah,
I understand that, and you know, but that's ultimately why it's important for women to come together and provide their space.
For sure.
You know, because when you see, transparency is one of the most, I don't know, like one of the most important things in life, because that just helps everybody understand, like, oh, well, I'm not the only one that ever went through this.
Right.
You know, and I don't know why people like to act like they're perfect and, you know, nothing ever went wrong, but transparency, sharing your struggles, sharing what you've been through is extremely important, especially for the next person coming up.
Definitely.
So I got to ask you, throughout your career and, you know, coming from where you started and where you stand today, what is it that Cristal VVS claps it up for when she thinks about life in her process?
It's funny because I'm working on learning to be more present in where I'm at right now, because yes, I did, you know, the Kanye stuff, the Wayne stuff, all that, and they're big milestones in my career, but I still feel like I got so much more to go, not just because, you know, there's other artists that I want to work with, but because like I don't feel accomplished until I can retire my mom. You know? Yeah. So it's like yes, I'm happy in these moments, but I don't think about them every day because I'm actually thinking about what I got to do to get to the next level. So I have been working though on being like, you know what, when I was you know, doing the 9 to 5 and going to school. Like I was dreaming about having my own studio. Like when I was listening or watching that Jesus Walks video, like I had no idea I was gonna work with Kanye. Like, you know, just like I'll start thinking about that. Like when you were a little girl, you were doing this, and like, did you think you were gonna be with, you know, Lil Wayne or Kanye, or like, did you think you were gonna have Warren G's number?
No,
you know what I mean? So it's like I try to remind myself, but it's hard, and I think a lot of people go through this. So I'm learning to be more present and just enjoy like how far I've came.
Mm-hmm. I understand that, and I think, you know, for the most part, most people I speak to say the same thing that you're saying. It's like we're thinking about the next thing. You know, it's kind of hard for us to sit up and you can be on a high for a moment, but it's kind of like, okay, it's time to get to the next step. It's time to do the next thing. So I definitely understand that. But you know, right here, I want to congratulate you on everything that you have accomplished, and I know you have plenty more to accomplish because you got so much more up in you. We young, you know, God willing, we live for another 50, 60 years. And with that being said, this is Cristal VVS. We just chopped big game, y'all. I should have said like, subscribe, and do all that good stuff. Please make sure y'all like, subscribe, share, follow, whatever y'all got to do. Let's help Cristal get this word out. Is this your first interview?
Yes.
Okay, we clap it up for that. This our first interview. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, make sure y'all stay tuned to Cristal VVS and everything else she's got coming. Understand she got bigger things coming, y'all. Again, J.Brock, Clapitup LA, Cristal VVS. We out. All right. And then let's